Welcome to Xian Voice. Continuing from the previous episode. The refinement of a Tier 7 medicinal pill was an extremely troublesome matter. This fire bodhisattva pill, being a high-grade Tier 7 high pill, was even more troublesome to refine. Silver-colored flames furiously burned within the medicinal cauldron on the stone stage. A low dragon roar was repeatedly being emitted from within it. The high temperature had caused the surroundings of the stone stage to become slightly distorted. Many medicinal ingredients lingered in the air above the stone stage. Occasionally, they would be thrown into the medicinal cauldron with a wave of Tang Gen's hand. After which, they would be swallowed by the 9 fire dragons within. However, it must be said that it was extremely convenient to use the 9-dragon lightning flame to refine medicinal ingredients. The 9 fire dragons were just like 9 small versions of medicinal cauldrons. They could perfectly refine these medicinal ingredients. Of course, Xiao Yan clearly understood that these 9 fire dragons were ultimately still under Tang Gen's control, but his control over the flame's temperature had reached a peak. His attention was split into 9, but one could not find the slightest mistake. One could imagine that if Tang Gen really possessed the qualification to become an alchemist, his achievement in the alchemist field would not be low. Xiao Yan felt somewhat unable to see through Tang Gen. By relying on his exceptionally sharp senses, he could vaguely sense that he was a frightening existence. However, it was difficult for Xiao Yan to sense anything through his aura. It was likely extremely appropriate to use the description of unfathomable to describe him. Although Tang Gen was a giant with an extremely terrifying strength, he was quite courteous when dealing with others. He did not possess the arrogance of an elite Dozun. Perhaps it was because he had a friendly character or that he had hid himself too deeply, but Xiao Yan ultimately maintained a healthy amount of fear for him. How could an ordinary person become the leader of a faction like the Burning Flame Valley? It was the first time that Xiao Yan had attempted this kind of cooperation to refine a medicinal pill. However, there were no flaws. His pill refinement experience was not weaker than anyone present. Moreover, his task was the simple merger of the pure medicinal strengths. With his current spiritual strength, this was not considered too difficult. Moreover, by owning the glazed lotus heart flame, he did not feel threatened by the might of the 9-dragon lightning flame within the fire cauldron. The stone stage was completely silent. Only the sound of a fire burning was emitted. Xiao Yan and Grandmaster Huan had their eyes shut. They focused their minds and controlled their spiritual strengths in the medicinal cauldron. A jade-green glow was vaguely visible within the silver-colored flame that was sweeping all over the medicinal cauldron. The interior of this cluster of jade-green flame was occupied by Xiao Yan's spiritual strength. At this moment, many different types of medicinal ingredients, that had been successfully refined, were gradually merging together at an extremely slow speed under his precise control. Kai! A slight sound suddenly appeared from the quiet jade-green glow. When one's gaze shifted over, one would see a drop of colorful, viscous liquid appearing within it. A dense medicinal fragrance was seeping out of the liquid. Just this first merger step has taken up nearly 3 hours. This Tier 7 medicinal pill is indeed unusually cumbersome to refine. Xiao Yan let out a gentle sigh after having merged the many medicinal ingredients into this colorful, viscous liquid. Immediately, his heart became tense. He knew that this was only the beginning. Refining a Tier 7 medicinal pill was not something that was as easy as he had imagined. After having sensed the difficulty of refining this Tier 7 medicinal pill, Xiao Yan involuntarily rejoiced a little. If he had not luckily entered that mysterious condition when he was helping Kai Lin refine the medicinal pill at the Inner Academy, it was likely impossible for him to successfully refine the medicinal pill with his alchemist skill back then. Now that he thought of it, luck was indeed the main reason for his success. However, with my current strength, it is likely that my chances of success would increase significantly if I refined it again. Moreover, there is no need for me to place my hopes on entering that mysterious condition. Satisfaction surged in Xiao Yan's heart when he thought of this. It was wonderful that he was able to reach this stage. Young friend Yan Xiao is indeed surprising. He has completed the initial merger so quickly. Tang Gen's voice suddenly sounded beside Xiao Yan's ear. Clearly, he was extremely surprised at Xiao Yan's quick efficiency. It should be known that the external elder from the Pill Tower, Grandmaster Huan, had yet to complete the initial merger at this moment. Xiao Yan merely smiled at Tang Gen's surprise. After which, he transmitted his voice over, Valley Chief Tang, Is the second portion of the medicinal ingredient completely refined? KK, it has been waiting for a while. Tang Zhen laughed. A thought passed through his mind as the 9 fire dragons abruptly widened their mouths. Numerous medicinal ingredients, that had completed their refinement, were once again spat out. A portion of it was separated before entering the jade green light where Xiaoyan's spiritual strength was located. The refinement of the fire bodhisattva pill is divided into 8 portions. This is currently only the second portion. However, with the both of you lending your hands, it is likely that the chances of success this time round will be very high. 8 portions? Xiaoyan could not help but quietly become speechless. This was indeed worthy of being a Tier 7 high-grade medicinal pill. Xiaoyan swiftly focused his mind after exclaiming in his heart. After which, he began to merge this second portion of pure medicinal strengths. A short while after Xiaoyan had begun merging the second portion, the Grandmaster Zan slowly opened his tightly shut eyes. His heart was quite shaken when he glanced at Xiaoyan. Xiaoyan's performance had really exceeded his expectations. This young man called Yan Xiao is likely also a Tier 7 alchemist. Such talent is really outstanding and brilliant. Grandmaster Huan gently sighed in his heart. His spiritual strength swept over the interior of the medicinal cauldron. He sucked the second batch of refined medicinal ingredients essences over and once again began the merger. The tediousness of this fire bodhisattva pill refinement had somewhat exceeded Xiaoyan and Grandmaster Huan's expectations. From the looks of it, this pill refinement was definitely a time-consuming task. It was likely that they would not be able to successfully refine this medicinal pill if they did not have 10 days' time. 10 days of continuous pill refinement without rest would be extremely exhausting, especially when they had to place a portion of their attention to block the corrosion of the high temperature of the 9-dragon lightning flame. It exhausted their spiritual strength while they merged the medicinal ingredients. Xiaoyan was still alright in terms of this. However, Grandmaster Huan's body was vaguely unable to endure any longer after reaching the 5th round of the merger of medicinal ingredients. It was fortunate that he had prepared quite a number of medicinal ingredients to recover his strength. Otherwise, it would likely be extremely difficult for him to endure. Time swiftly flew by as the many medicinal ingredients suspended in the air above the stone stage gradually reduced. If one counted the time, the pill refinement was approaching the 7th day. During these 7 days, the 3 people on the stone stage did not show the slightest activity. The only change was the thick medicinal fragrance that seeped out of the medicinal cauldron. All the alchemists on the platform not far from the stone stage looked at Xiaoyan, who had endured for nearly 7 days. The solemnness on their faces became denser. After seeing Xiaoyan's performance during these 7 days, there was no longer anyone who dared mock him because they knew that if they were in his place, they would not be able to last until now. If I have guessed correctly, this Yan Xiao should also be a Tier 7 alchemist. An alchemist from the platform suddenly sighed as he spoke. Everyone were stunned when they heard these words. They immediately let out bitter laughs. This matter was something that was a little difficult for them to accept. They had only obtained this achievement through many years of bitter training, yet a young man, who appeared to be in his 20s, had surpassed them. Grandmaster Mo's eyes were startled as he looked at the stone stage. His face contained a defeated expression. At that instant, he appeared to have become a little older. Tang Huo stood prettily at the side of the square. Her tall figure was exceptionally alluring. Her eyes were also similarly focused on the stone stage. Both of her hands were tightly clenched. The pill refinement had entered the intermediate stage. She hoped that nothing untoward would happen. Time swiftly flowed by amid everyone's expectations. Another day passed in the blink of an eye. The 8 portions of pill refinement had reached the final step. At this moment, the medicinal ingredients that had been suspended in the air above the stone stage were completely poured into the medicinal cauldron. Powerful fire affinity energy filled the surroundings, causing the air to feel a little distorted. The silver-colored flame within the medicinal cauldron had become much fiercer. A dragon roar was repeatedly being emitted from within. After which, it rose in a vast and mighty manner while spreading over the entire valley. The expressions of Xiaoyan's 3-man group were exceptionally serious at this moment. If they were unable to pass this barrier, this current pill refinement attempt would completely fail. You too, the old me has completed the medicinal ingredient refinement. The subsequent merger is up to the 2 of you. Tang Zhen's eyes glanced at Xiaoyan and Grandmaster Huan. His expression was solemn as he cupped his hands and informed them in a deep voice. The remaining task no longer concerned him. Whether this pill refinement succeeded or not would depend on Xiao Yan and Grandmaster Huan. Xiao Yan and Grandmaster Huan clenched their teeth and nodded upon hearing this. They immediately focused their minds. 8 tiny lights were suspended within the jade-green glow inside the medicinal cauldron. Soupy medicinal fragrances repeatedly spread from the lights. These were the medicinal liquids that had been formed after the fusion of nearly 100 types of medicinal ingredients. Xiao Yan's current task was to completely fuse these 8 clusters together in the next 9 days. If his fusion failed, the pill refinement this time around would naturally end up in failure. At that time, he could forget about the Skyfire 3 mysterious change. Xiao Yan suddenly clenched his fists when he thought of this. This time around, he was only allowed to succeed. He could not fail.